Ranking Member Johnson, do you have further questions for this panel?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You know, as Ms. Smith pointed out earlier, obviously rape and sexual assault occur throughout society. You can actually argue inside the walls of a prison might be one place where you could actually prevent it from happening. I mean, there's guards, there are people, people there to enforce the law. You could argue that it just shouldn't happen. I think with my last round of questioning here, I just want to try to get some sense of how pervasive it is within prison. Obviously, in society, there's so many reasons why rape victims don't come forward. You have those same dynamics occurring with prisoners, plus you have the even more horrific power and fear of retaliation, which would prevent victims from coming forward and really blowing the whistle on it. So I guess what I'd like to ask the three witnesses is, within the spectrum of isolated to pervasive, having talked to fellow prisoners, do you have any sense whatsoever that this is you were unfortunately a victim of an isolated problem? And maybe it's different for every facility. It probably is different for different facilities, but do you have any kind of sense whatsoever in terms of what kind of problem we're dealing with here? Just something, again, that you were the unfortunate victim of an isolated case, or you're just unfortunate victim of something that's pervasive within the prison population of women's prison? I'll start with you, Ms. Richardson.
Well, I was one of 7 victims from MCC that the officer pled guilty to, and that was in the pretrial facility that I was housed in for 4.5 years when I was transferred to Tallahassee, Florida. Prior to me just leaving in October, there's 3 inmates there that was sexually assaulted by an officer, an officer which was walked off the compound. So it seems to be at all of the facilities.
Yes, it's occurring. Again, I'm trying to get some sense. There are, what is total prison population women? Something like 17,000. Is that from my briefing? But anyway, I'll go to Ms. Moore. What is your sense? Isolated or just pervasive throughout prison systems?
I think it's throughout the prison systems as well. The captain had more than just me. I think I never knew the ladies, but there were other women on his case as well that came forward for him to get prosecuted. So it's not isolated.
But again, you're kind of dealing with the same information we're looking at right now in terms of what's been in the end prosecuted, what has come to light. I'm trying to get some sense for how through conversations with fellow prisoners. Do you have any sense whatsoever? I'll go to Ms. De La Rosa for that.
Pervasive throughout. It's way more people than the people who have just reported. It's throughout the system.
So that would also imply there are a lot more perpetrators.
Yes.
Well, again, Mr. Chairman, I appreciate you forcing us to look at something we have to look at. We just do. And we really do need the Department of Justice to step up the plate, examine this carefully, utilize different tools, recognize that the PREA-Act certainly has not eliminated this, and try and we need more of a sense to figure out really how pervasive this is and what we can really do. And I'll again point out that the real problem is how can prisoners have any confidence to report? The other thing that I found bizarre, and we'll cover this up there, we'll cover this at the next panel too, is the strange situation if the Office of Internal Affairs compels a guard to do an interview, and they find out that wrongdoing has occurred. That's a get out of the jail free card. So I think we're going to have to obviously look to the Office of Inspector General to step up their investigations, because I think the Supreme Court has ruled on that. That's the way it's going to be, compelled testimony. So we're going to have to figure out a better way to investigate, because that's one of the ways you reduce this, at least, would be more consistent prosecutions and very severe penalty, which, by the way, penalty includes incarceration. But even those perpetrators deserve to be in a prison that is safe and where they're not abused as well. So again, this is a big problem. Like, as I said in the outset, it's not a fun problem to look at. It just isn't, but it's one that we have to. And again, I appreciate the fact that you're forcing us to look at it.
Well, Ranking Member Johnson, I very much appreciate your consistent support and engagement in this investigation and that of your staff. I think it sends a powerful message to the department that there is strong bipartisan will to address this crisis, and we'll have the opportunity to question government witnesses in the next panel.